Yeah. And here we go. We're gonna go ahead and transition now. Hey, lovely scribblers, hello, and welcome to another Heroes of Iyastera session. Not just any session, but the beginning of Chapter 2. And the next stage of the adventure. So, how is everyone? Welcome. Welcome back to our wonderful heroes here. I need to fix the volume here a little bit. I think the music may have been a little too loud there. How's it going, Knight? How are you today? This evening? How are you tonight? Get ready for that. It's been a long-ish week, and there's gonna be lots of lame jokes, I'm sure. I'm drinking a double brew of Lady Grey tea this evening.
Bonfire Gate night. Bonfire Gate night.
How many bomb puns can we make tonight? Hello, Fleetfoot Whack, welcome! And if you guys saw the little meme in the Discord, I'm rocking my chaotic good tea drinking style.
Oh.
That's how I drink my tea. It depends on the mug, though. This mug is kind of big. So it's a little awkward. Yeah. Anyway.
Japanese wine going?
I like that. What are you drinking? What kind of tea?
The orange with my matcha, like a green tea.
Oh.
Nice one.
Oh, that's nice.
I've decided I think I only like matcha
Hakama.
iced.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. I quite like it that way as well. I love it that way. So, but
like a green tea matcha latte or something.
hot tea's good.
Yeah.
Okay, so I do like iced tea. I do, and I miss iced tea because that's not really a thing here in England.
I'm so sorry for you.
I am sorry for me too.
Yeah, it's not really, no.
It's not. But here's the thing. So I'm from the geographic south in the U.S. Hello, Argon Skies! What?
Oh, hey,
Fleetfoot
kid.
Whack. That's weird. Chaotic evil. Keep the fingers toasty. That's gross. You're nasty. What was I saying? Oh, yes. So although I am a southerner, I don't like sweet tea. Whether iced or hot, I do not put sweetener in my tea. Sometimes a little bit of honey in green tea, but nothing else. I will sometimes enjoy milk in like breakfast tea and black tea that I've enjoyed more since moving here. But I guess I'm a little bit of a tea purist. I guess that goes along with the thought that if I were ever to be canceled for something, it would be my tea opinions.
Yep.
My tea opinions.
Cancel for tea.
We should just start.
Yeah, there's worse ways
We
to go
should
down.
just start. I'm rambling. We just.
Are you?
I don't know. I feel like
I hadn't
rambling.
I
noticed.
don't think you are. Quite
Is that
Quite interested
sarcasm?
in the tea conversation. Thank you.
Me? No.
You're not helping. Oh my goodness. Yeah. So I guess
That was sarcasm about sarcasm.
it
I've never seen
was, and it threw me off. I'm not prepared for that yet.
Double sarcasm.
I'm not even halfway through my tea yet. I need more. Yeah, so welcome everyone. Hopefully you are all caught up on the previous episodes of Heroes of Iyastera. All 6 episodes of Chapter 1. If not, you may want to catch up on those before you watch this, actually. Because there may be some major spoilers, but I will leave that up to you to make your own decisions. But be sure to catch up on YouTube if you have not caught up yet. Yes, tonight is the beginning of Chapter 2, so I figure we'll start with a bit of a recap from Chapter 1, just to remind ourselves everything that did happen. And start to introduce some new things that we're going to be using in our ever-evolving 5e fusion D&D campaign, because as you scribblers know, we are not using the traditional as-written D&D rules for 5th edition. This is a continuously evolving game that will quite possibly, at some point in the future, a few chapters from now, turn into a different system entirely.
Oh.
I've already mentioned that in little bits and pieces before. Oh my gosh! Don't act like that's some sort of crazy hot take. I can
A little bit.
hand as well.
Okay.
We need a chin hand emote.
That needs to. Oh yes, yes. Does that need to be the next emote?
Scriv chin. Scriv chin.
Just Scriv's chin.
Just the
Just the
chin.
chin.
Just Scriv's chin.
That is preposterous, and I love it. Do whatever you want. I'll enjoy it either way.
I'm the emote artist. I
You
decide.
are. You are. I have
If I
the
want
power.
just a chin, it's gonna be just a chin.
That is so. I mean, it would look like you wouldn't even be able to tell what it was,
Purple.
though. How would
purple?
it would just be like a weird semicircle? Do I have to send you reference pictures of my chin? Like, how do we even do that?
Yeah, I'm not sure about that actually.
I don't know.
In hindsight.
But I like the face.
In
Just
theory.
with
Good
the raised
idea, in
eyebrow.
theory.
Yeah, it works. I like it. Anyway. So one of the things that we are going to introduce, which I would like to sort of feel out through the course of tonight's session, we're going to start using goals. So the establishment and tracking of character goals and bonds isn't something that is traditionally used in Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition. And I wanted to go ahead and sort of throw that out there now for those of you who are enjoying watching the stream and following along. So once we start referring to this stuff, it's not, it's not weird or confusing or anything. We're pretty excited about the opportunity to adapt different rules and approaches to our home game here. Virtual home game, and we enjoy talking about that sort of thing. So that's not something that we have discussed off stream yet. We have not prepared that for tonight's session, so I would like to see how that kind of develops organically. Little bit of DM notebook stuff here. No, it will be whatever you think fits with your character. So this is something that if you guys have played Dungeon World before, you might be familiar with. The completion of certain goals. It's actually a thing in Burning Wheel as well, I believe. The completion of different goals can lead to extra experience points. It can lead to the advancement of certain skills. We want to look at it from a more fluid, flexible standpoint. So we're not going to get too much into the nitty-gritty of that, but through chapter 2 we're going to start incorporating that into sort of the game mechanics that we're using here. But first and foremost, we should do a bit of a recap. You guys have anything before we go into our recap, and then we'll have the title
Just
intro.
into character.
Let's get into character. Let's get some appropriate music going.
Nice. That works.
Chapter 1 was a very good start to the adventure, I think. Hopefully you guys feel the same. Heck, you know what I could do? I could even reread that little snippet, that little bit of narrative from that first note. So, Chapter 1 began a week after Eorad and Marlowe's, we'll say, venture forth from Yokul. Eorad had fled the Athenaeum in the cover of night with nothing but a cloak to conceal his metallic form and a travel sack thrust into his arms by a panicked Tashi, one of the mages at the Athenaeum and one of Eorad's only allies. Following Tashi's vague instructions, he made his way to the docks in Yeoman, where a ship was waiting for him. The Maristella. the ship that one Marlowe Magoria was, at the time, serving on and adventuring with. He was greeted by the sight of the glorious ship and the ship's captain, Roscoe, a sea-weathered Aarakocra trader. He also met someone who quickly became his closest ally on the unfamiliar journey. Enter Marlowe. They sailed for many days, sharing stories and learning from the stars until they reached land in Monair, a secluded cove just outside the Glenfarren forest. This is where they met two new companions. A tall sort of lumbering furbolg, sitting on what seemed to be a carved ship's mast, whittling patterns away into another piece of timber, Baum the timbersmith, and a sharp-eyed Aarakocra, the hedge witch, the renowned hedge witch of Glenfarren. They both had received word of the ship's arrival, but in different ways. Baum from the whispering of the trees, Kendis from their cards, and a rather cryptic message received in the dark of night from Yokul. Some strange fate brought these four together, for each of them had something that they were seeking. And as they spent the next couple of weeks walking through the trees, those who were enjoying their first taste of freedom, marveling in the brilliant hues and the sunlight and the canopy above. But a strange tale was unfolding within Glenfarren. Strange occurrences. The newfound companions soon learned that the timbersmith's ancestral grove, the knotless wood, had something strange. The trees had been affected in some strange way. The ancestral spirits of the timbersmith family were restless. As time went on, and Marlowe and Eorad began to learn more and more about this, at least temporary, home from Kendis and Baum, they noticed some strange disturbances, imbalances within the larger Glenfarren forest itself. Winter, frostblight was touching different areas far, far sooner than they should in this autumnal season. Investigations continued, leading them to find the patriarch of the Goodsong family, one of the other older founding families of Glenfarren, a musically gifted halfling clan, found him in the middle of one of the groves. Not quite unconscious, but definitely not himself. A strange, very, very severely frost-bitten form of himself. Possibly at the hands of some new creatures that started appearing in the woods. Shades, wraiths, dark, shadowy, antlered figures that moved silently, swiftly through the trees. Everywhere they touch, ice was left in their wake. The mystery continued to unravel before the party as they met with the Vervains, the leading family of Glenfarren, and started to learn that perhaps the source of this mystery, the source of this blight, these troubles, lay at the source of the forest itself, the ancient spring that lies within the roots and the waters of the mother tree, the first tree of the Glenfarren forest. The party decides to explore this spring for themselves and learns that the spring's appointed guardian, whom they at first thought was Lady Vervain herself, turns out to be a long forgotten, perhaps not forgotten, long hidden and closely guarded sister of Lady Vervain, Elena. The party then learns that something had caused the tree and its guardian to go into this very deep hibernation-like state. Something that was causing pain a disruption, a severing between the tree and the natural magic of the land, causing this blight to spread ever farther out into the city. They then learned that these shades were perhaps not necessarily the malicious forms they once thought, but more like a defense mechanism, a defensive system, a self-healing process, cast out perhaps in an incomplete manner, but not fully in vain, by the Guardian herself. That song was not appropriate for the mood of the narrative. But eventually, all of their research, all of their toil came to a very interesting conclusion. As they realized that the wraiths were there to attempt to restore energy and life to that mother tree, they found that the real source of the problem lied not in the surface, exposed part of the tree itself, but in the roots, beneath the frozen waters of the lake. And who was the one to dive down to find the source of that problem, of the source of that pain and the wound? It was Eorad. Eorad the Wanderer, the warforged sentinel who had left the alabaster Athenium of Yokul to find his fortune. He had found a calling for something more, knowing that it was more than the spirit of some subservient entity within him. But he had known and felt for so long that the stars themselves were calling him to some greater purpose. And last session, to conclude Chapter 1, he found that purpose. By healing the rift caused by a strange and foreign device embedding itself within the roots of the tree. Channeling his own energy and that of the Wanderer, his celestial guide, to heal the spring's link and heal the blight, heal the frost, and bring color and life and warmth back to the forest. As he emerged from the waters, and you saw the wraiths, all of you witnessing this, the wraiths of the Guardian encircle, and then shine brightly, their true forms revealed once more, the shadows falling away, and casting themselves, that energy, back into the tree. And you felt the shifting as the Guardian herself awakened at long last from that frozen slumber. You learned that Eorad may have to stay here now. But that is where we left last session, and that is where we will pick up now. But before we do, we'll go ahead and play that intro video.
Beautiful.
Awesome music.
I love it.
Yeah, it's really good.
Oh, I'm so emotional. I love the story. I love the
Yeah. Like reliving it, it's so cool.
To Iyastera, everyone.
assume maybe.
I really need to go through all my stats again and make sure I'm up to speed. I get really confused with all the technical stuff, but we can do that at some point.
We can do
Yeah.
that. We're back on. And we're back.
Hi.
Hi.
Has everyone heard me talking about how I don't really know how to play D&D?
Oh, goodness. Well,
Just
we're not
ignore
fully
it.
playing traditional D&D.
No.
All good. But yes, as a reminder, we are all at, I guess including
4.
myself, all at level 4.
Uh-huh.
But we are back. I suppose since we ended on the island, that is where we should begin.
So,
go ahead.
I was going to ask what the state of Eorad is.
Oh.
The voice of the Guardian was only heard by Eorad. However, you know that something is happening within him. The runes, the etchings all across his form are still glowing with this pure light. The arms, the celestial arms, have now started to fade to his normal form once more, but the runes are still shining. He's facing the tree, away from all of you, and is quiet for several moments that feel like they draw on for far longer than they actually do, before he turns. And he's holding in his hands this strange device, this strange chunk of twisting black metal. Looks a bit like a spider, almost. It's slightly crushed, it looks a bit damaged, but he's holding it in his hands now. And it's dormant. Whatever this is, you've never seen it before.
We haven't.
You have never seen it before. This is not the device you're looking for. If any of you saw Goblin Punks, you may remember this. Anyway. The eyes open. They too are shining. I can't do the robot voice with the little thing he had, the mixer, but
voice changer.
Hi guys. I think we did it.
You mean you did?
I don't really know what just happened, but I think I'm a guardian now.
I feel with that act, anyone would be. I've never seen such heroism.
That was incredibly brave, Eorad.
I couldn't have done it without all of you. But we did it. We did it, right?
I believe so.
I feel different. I can't explain it. I feel like I'm here. But I'm also in the tree or in the roots. I don't know. The Wanderer did something when I was under the water. I think we... I found this. Eorad just seems at a loss, like he's having to process so much information right now that it's all he can do at this point to just thrust his hands out holding this thing.
Bomb physically reels.
Take it.
Bomb's like, he just literally takes a big step back.
It feels very wrong to you, Bomb.
Yeah, I don't like anywhere near it.
Kendis will take it.
Pick it up. It has some strange weight to it. It looks sort of delicate in its composition, but the spindly clawed legs are sharp, and it has this density to it.
Kendis takes it, and then just like the hands drop a little, just with the unexpected weight. How curious. I have no idea what to make of this.
I want to take a look at it.
Of course. Here you go, Marlowe. And Kendis hands it over.
I kind of just want to I may take out a tinkering tool or two and have a look see.
That's perfectly fine. Will this
You will need
be
1,000 baths.
It's not welcome in the Knotless cabin.
No.
You're not bringing that thing home. In what manner are you going to be tinkering with it? Just sort of absent-mindedly exploring, or are you using this as a means to try to discern what it is?
I would
Or
like to discern
an aspect of its nature?
I want to know what it is and what it does. Why was it here?
Okay.
Or how did it get here, perhaps?
So I believe when it came to us determining your tinkering checks, it's going to be intelligence-based. You can add your proficiency modifier, if I remember right.
I believe
Is it
I
Arcana?
have a +5 tinkering.
Yeah. Yep. Go ahead and roll a tinkering check for me.
19.
Very good. Very good. Gotta pick up a notebook for this.
Scrib. Spider anatomy.
No. So, as you are sitting there with the tools, I need to make a note of how high you rolled. As you're sitting there with the tools, sort of prying it apart, looking at the articulation of these legs, and it does look to be designed after some sort of spider-like creature. This black metal with strange, almost silvered waves and ripples in the metal itself, but it's very solid. The legs are jointed. They have barbed hooks at the tips of each one that very much look like they're designed to be stabbed into something and hooked, like to grip onto something. And as you're doing this, Eorad, of course, in the background is describing how he found it, how it looked as though it was moving of its own accord, and it was embedding itself in the roots of the tree. Or it had embedded itself in the roots of the tree, and it was sort of responding to him when he was trying to break it free. It's dormant right now.
Okay, yeah, that's what
It's
I was
not
gonna ask.
moving. It's not moving. You don't see any sign of it moving. However, you do see in the center where the body of, we'll say, the spider would be, there is an opening. It's almost like a donut in the metal. There's an open spot, and in between 4 more points, like needle-like points of metal, is a crystal. It is perfectly clear right now, and it looks cracked. And some of the legs look a bit damaged as well. So with a 19, you're able to determine, because this is a tinkering check, I may have you roll a follow-on check after this. You're able to determine that that gem, whatever it is what powers this thing in some way. And if you look very, very closely, there are some runes. There are some different patterns and symbols etched into the ring, in the body of this thing.
Are they similar at all to the runes on Eorad?
No. No. They're not.
Would I be able to determine if the crystal is arcane in nature?
It is. I will give you that one. And knowing that, I will let you now roll a follow-on check. Either Arcana or History, up to you.
I get advantage on Arcana checks, don't I?
Yes.
Yeah. That's good because that was a natural 20.
First nat 20 of chapter 2. Hey! Get some hypes in the chat.
Awesome.
Good job, Marlowe.
Oh boy. Yeah, nat 20. I can't keep this from you anymore then. You haven't seen something like this in this form before. But this reeks of the work of the collective.
Oh.
This... It sounds like a new Scribbler.
Hey!
Oh, what? Night coming in with a gifted sub. Thank you so much, friend.
Thank you, Night.
Jen, you got gifted a sub.
Thank
Cheers
you.
to you, friend. Thank you so much. Nice. There's a hype for you. That's a fantastic hype. Best hype there is. Now Cthulhu appears. Get out of here. Get out of here. And I like the toaster oven piece there, Silver Ravens. Very nice. To our knowledge, Eorad does not have a built-in toaster oven. To our knowledge. Go at Drak on Twitter and ask him.
Yeah.
So you have not seen this before replicated in any form, but some of the runes, the nature of its construction, very much looks like something someone within the collective could have made. This seems like it was designed to absorb energy or magic in some way. From your experience, from what you have seen in the past.
Is Marlowe going to relay this to the
It's
party?
up to Marlowe.
I will not relay this to the party, but I will relay that it is arcane in nature. From what you observe, there is no, she's poker face. There's no, recollection or familiarity on her face of recognizing the tech.
And with that natural 20, I'll absolutely
Maybe we should.
support. This looks like
Maybe
a
we
magic
should put
tech.
this away.
So Kendis will ask, so you don't make anything of it? You haven't seen anything like this before?
Prying
not
questions.
like this, no. Which
Like,
is it?
That's true.
Wrong.
You have not seen a device like this before. Anything that you've been able to ascertain from it, you used from past knowledge to guess, honestly, what you think it could be, and given what Eorad said about it.
I do wonder if perhaps we should separate the essentially heart from the beast. So if we can separate the crystal from the spider, just as a safeguard.
Maybe the Boulder Smiths could help. They're used to chipping away things cleanly.
And the crystal is damaged. It's still in one piece, possibly held together by those spines, but there is a pretty significant crack right through the center.
Maybe we visit Krolder see if she can remove it cleanly.
Mm-hmm.
We need to keep it for investigation, I feel.
Yes, absolutely. I wouldn't want this out of our sight at all, really. It requires further investigation.
It could be corruptive as well. And just because something is damaged does not mean it is dead.
Exactly.
How does the island look? Is it still like frosty and like cold?
While the
Or has it started to...
It has started. It has started to revive, while the change and that flow of energy is not necessarily quick. You can already feel the air starting to get a little warmer. Your breath isn't coming out in clouds as strongly as it was before, in those frozen, frosted clouds of air. And you see, starting from the central trunk of the tree, out through the roots that make up the base of this island, and all the soil and greenery it collects, things are starting to become green again, have those rich, earthy hues, and the frost is beginning to melt and fade. Eorad still stands there as if he himself is rooted to the spot, still seeming to almost be whispering to himself, muttering a little bit, in some cases nodding his head, shaking in others.
Eorad, what is it? Eorad, can you hear me?
Kendis, yes, sorry.
You alright?
I think so, yeah. I think I'm good.
I suppose our work here is done. Are you coming with us?
I don't think I can. The Guardian, Elena, she's waking. But the strength hasn't returned to her yet. I think because I did whatever it was that I did in the roots, I think I have to stay. I think I'm connected to this now. I'm sorry.
Hedgewitch, I can see his connection.
Come with you.
I can see his connection. It is visual for me. And every part of the island is drawn to him.
I thought of such powerful magic at work here. It seems logical that he must stay and continue to channel the energy that he has provided to the spring.
That's it. That's what the Guardian called me. I'm not really a Guardian. Not like her, but a channel, a conduit. She said I was a conduit.
Mm-hmm.
I think I need to stay here. I don't know how long, but maybe this is what I was meant to do. Maybe this is what I needed. Maybe this is why I left the Athenaeum. Something drew me here. Something drew both of us here, looking at you now, Marlowe. Maybe this is what I'm meant to do. At least for now. I don't know. But I can't leave. It doesn't feel right. In any way. But you'll come back to visit, right?
Of course.
Thank
It's strange to leave you like this, but well, Glenferrie is my home. And so it may seem. Well, thank you, Eorad, for taking this upon you and giving us the device and all your companionship over the last couple of weeks. It's been an honor to know you, my friend.
I learned so much from all of you. I I thought the journey might have been a little bit longer, but this is where I need to be. The Wanderer thinks so too. Bomb. I finally found that job you wanted me to find.
And now you're part of the spring, you're also part of this place and our home. And I welcome you now.
It feels
with open arms.
It feels right. Thank you.
You welcome him now.
Marlowe. I'm sorry.
He's working for his keep.
Yep. I'm sorry we couldn't find another ship. But you guys know where to find me. I'll be here, I guess.
I turned to the squirrel.
I was just gonna mention the squirrel. Perfect, thank you. Take it away.
I addressed the squirrel and I'm just like, you take care of this one, yeah?
The squirrel kind of chitters at you a little bit. And because the squirrel was stuck to, was it your shoulder when Eorad dove into the water?
It was Eorad. Oh, I think it went to
didn't follow
Kendis.
in the water. Yes,
right.
Yes.
Yeah.
So as you, Marlowe, address the squirrel, which is sitting on Kendis's head at the moment, because I think that's adorable. Yeah. It's been too stunned to eat the little nut.
Oh, it's still holding the eggs.
And then you speaking to it kind of snapped it out of its state. And it chitters, almost as if in understanding. And skitters down from Kendis and goes over to its favorite shiny tree being, which is even shinier now with all the glowing runes, and just scampers up to then sit on Eorad's shoulder. And then it starts eating the egg. I think I'll be okay here. Yeah. This will be good. But you guys should figure out what that thing is. That doesn't belong here. I mean, it's obvious it doesn't belong here, but seeing what it was doing to the roots and the tree, I don't know how that could have been here. It doesn't look like anything from the Athenium. I don't know what that is. But it moved as if it were alive. But I'll sit here and keep an eye on things, I guess.
You help Elena. We will investigate this foul thing.
I will. I believe in you guys.
My companions will.
Until we meet again, Eorad.
I'll be here. Be safe.
Take care.
Goodbye, my friend.
As we are leaving, I stop and then I reach into my pocket and I turn and I go back to Eorad and I take one of my earlier iterations of a compass out of my pocket and I give it to him and I go, if by chance you're ever able to leave, you know where to find me. Always go north. And I turn, I give him the compass, and then I turn and I go.
Before you turn, he gives you a hug.
I hug him back this time.
Hug. And then he says thank you.
And Bomb...
he holds on to it. Go ahead.
No, Bomb uses Druidcraft to just bring up some of the buds that have sort of frozen, so just to reinvigorate them on the island, in like a circle round Eorad.
Oh, that's nice.
So a bit like a Okami. Have you ever played that game, Okami, where you heal the land and it just sprouts loads of vegetation?
Excuse me.
Bless you.
The flowers, with every awakening, this is all this pollen now. That's lovely.
Yeah. That's his gesture. Yeah.
Kendis plucks out a yellow feather and pops it around with the parrots.
You gifted one of your own feathers? I don't think Kendis really gives one of their own feathers very lightly.
Oh no, definitely not. This is definitely a big deal. Those are special.
If Eorad could cry, he would. And the light in his eyes at this point, the runes are still glowing, but the light starts to dim and you can see his normal glowing eyes, I suppose. Again. And he says, "Thank you. I'll treasure these always." Well, I guess I'll take a look around. Figure out what that thing is.
We will.
Let me know. Okay. That was lovely. And he walks away and starts to look around the tree, looking for other possible wounds, looking to see how the frost is departing.
What time of day is it?
It was like late morning when you guys went there.
Yeah.
And that offering you had, you didn't quite notice this before, the distraction from Eorad's heroics, we'll say. But as Eorad walked around, because he was obscuring it from view a little bit, that offering that all of you had helped to create, that bomb your hands carved, with little stone marbles and paints and everything. It is there at the very base of that central trunk, just directly below that frozen heart, which is now starting to thaw. That's taking a little bit longer. The roots immediately around it have bloom. It looks as though small flowers are starting to grow from them, from the moss that was covering the roots themselves. Small tendrils of green have started to wrap around it and interlace with the lines and the curves of this crane figurine you have created. And the colors seem to almost echo the paints as well that are adorning this statue. It seems as though that gift has been accepted, and it will remain there as a marker. At this point, Arlai Vervain, who has been watching all of this, out of breath because she was kind of caught up in the midst of the bit of combat that you guys had. She stands up, tears in her eyes. She has no words for Eorad, but she gives him a hug as well, and turns to all of you. Let's go figure out what this thing is. Let's figure out how it came to be here and who brought it into my home, our home. And you depart back?
Yep.
The way you came. The waters are starting to thaw as well. So walking along to the boat is a little bit more precarious, but you're able to get there. Very, very precariously. A little bit of slipping and sliding, some cracks in the ice, but you make it, and you're able to get back to shore safely. So here you are at the shore. You are outside of the Vervain's home, holding this strange device. What would you like to do?
Bomb turns to Marlowe. I think we have to keep this concealed. What if, instead of someone infiltrating this household, it came from within it?
Do you say this loud?
Not out loud. No, not out loud. Very quietly to Marlowe, to one side. Is it possible this was an internal?
Planted.
How else would someone get into this essentially secure household?
Do you only say this to Marlowe, or is Kendis within earshot?
You've got the device, haven't you?
Mhm.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Well,
only you.
okay.
Only you. Yeah.
I'm just. Oh, okay, good. Kendis is just fluttering ahead, and thinking about stuff.
Perhaps then you don't think it's the best idea to take it to the Vervains.
Arlie did see it.
Yeah. Apart from the lady of the house, no.
Perhaps we can meet outside of their home. Neutral territory.
Yes,
Kendis drops
definitely.
back and goes, "So, of course, I was just thinking, we must give this to the Vervains, right? Surely they'll know what to do."
Oh, Kendis, you lawful bird.
Edge witch. Come here. We're talking. Sorry. My fault.
Oh, you were talking about this already.
Yes.
I was just lost in my own world. Okay, so what's the plan? What do you propose we do?
I was saying to Marlowe we should keep it concealed. It's up to Arlie to discuss it with who she trusts, but what if this device was planted from inside this household?
Oh, I hadn't thought of that.
It seems suspicious that they didn't notice someone walking into the spring or infiltrating the spring. Something so important.
That's true.
They have a number of staff within the house, a number of visitors. Even I was allowed free access when I was working on their wood adjustments to the house. This seems
Given how
a possibility.
and given how readily they guarded the spring once things started going wrong, I don't know, that seems suspicious in hindsight as well. Yes. I'm inclined to agree with you.
It is only precautionary, not to be, excluding people, but it's just in case.
No, I agree. We need to research this further before we can make any concrete decisions. I've never seen anything like this. I'm gonna have to consult some more books. Ooh, books. Excellent.
Books are trustworthy. They don't have a motivation behind them. They're already written. I agree. But who else in the town do you trust implicitly? Apart from me, of course.
My gosh. There's... Well...
Scriv?
Are there any other magic users in town, or am I the only head witcher?
You are closer to, because you've worked with them before, and when you first arrived here, actually, you became closer to this family because your original mentor was from this family. Why aren't my documents working?
It's so good.
The Lazaro family. A human family.
Oh, yeah.
They devote their time to cultivating rare herbs. They can only be found in Glenfarra. They use them to create medicines and potions. You met you've met a couple of them in this campaign already.
Mm-hmm.
You met, I believe, Sybil.
Oh, at the market, right?
At the trading post. Sybil was
at
the trading post. You spoke to them, and you spoke to Hannah, who is not an original, we'll say, denizen of Glenfarra, but one who came and stayed, a female Firbolg alchemist. So Hannah came to the forest at a younger age. She's been here for a little while to study with the Lazarus family.
Yep.
So you've worked with them in the past to perfect and share recipes basically for different types of potions, tinctures, healing herbs, combinations. And the Lazarus family, you know, from when you met them at the trading post as well, rely on some of the waters of the spring for some of their concoctions. But they had been barred from it.
Got it. Well, Sybil and Hannah would be my first thought. We know they aren't in it because they were barred from the spring as well. Although, I mean, there was anyone I was going to trust for matters of the arcane who might have some kind of insight, or even just some counsel, it would be those two. What do you think, Timbersmith?
That's who we see, yes.
Okay. I'm glad we're in agreement.
Sybil is the eldest daughter of the Lazarus family, by the way.
Should we convey any of this to Arlai?
Well, Arlai, she's been tying up the boat, and it looks like at this point, while you were all talking, and Arlai was very eager to confer with her own family, Emil came out. Actually, their son Enda rushed out first. Went up, "Mama! Mama!" and gave her a big hug. What happened? Is it fixed? Is it better? What happened? And they're now speaking in hushed tones. Emil and Arlai, with Enda clinging to Arlai's side, clinging to her leg.
Well, my dears, the good news is we have fixed the spring. The bad news is at something of a personal cost. And there's also... yeah. It's a little more complicated than we thought originally. I don't really know how to explain this. As Marlowe's still got the thing, right? The device.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know.
If you wanted to keep it secret, I would say you would know when you guys walked up, and you were probably using the reunion of the family as an excuse to sort of go off to the side. You would have been able to conceal this.
Conceal it.
Can I do an insight on Emil?
Yes.
While they're talking?
Roll your insight check.
16.
That's good. Emil's primary concern is the well-being of Arlai right now. And as they were speaking, because I'd say you'd be able to be engaged in this conversation, but with your intuition and your kind of ability to be in tune as well, you're able to just sort of watch them as well. Emil seemed surprised. Arlai filled them in. You don't know how much she filled in, but it sounds like at this point when the conversation started merging again, she was just saying, and then Eorad, and then the Warforged emerged from the water. So that was the point where she was at in the story, when the conversation started merging.
Okay. But his body language and his reactions are quite natural, yeah?
Yes.
I'd be used to that because Bob's very straightforward.
Yes, there's nothing strange
Fake
or unexpected
Yeah.
about his reactions. He seems naturally concerned and curious, sense feelings of relief.
Okay.
But from what you noticed, what are your passive perceptions? Each of you?
15.
How do we measure that again?
That'd be 10 plus your wisdom modifier.
13.
13. Mine is wisdom modifier. So my wisdom is 18 and my modifier is +4.
Yeah.
Nice, 14. Okay, so we got 13, 14, 15. Very good.
Yeah.
Kendis and Bomb, after you three had decided that you wanted to keep this a secret, you were listening in. You did not hear if Aralai has made any mention of the device yet, but she was getting to that part in the story when Kendis, you then interjected in the family's conversation. So we'll play it that way. Since you want to keep it a secret, but you would have to start guiding that conversation. So Aralai will turn to you then. Well, what do you do now? We need to do some research, right? We need to find out what... And then she pauses for a moment, perhaps detecting some of the sharper looks from you in particular, Kendis.
Yep.
She seems confused. Are we not...
Can we talk, Aralai? Just to the side. Alone.
Oh, alone?
Yes.
Indeed.
She nods to Emil. I'll be in a moment. And they go inside. Nods to you.
There's no bearing on your household. But it seems curious to all of us that this device was planted in the spring, which is usually such a secure place, and monitored not just by you, but your sister.
I'm just as much at a loss as you are. I want to know how that thing got here.
Indeed,
how it came to
too.
Glenfarra in the first place. What are you suggesting?
Is it not possible that this became a thing from within your own household?
An inside job, as they say.
We mean no offence.
But at the same time, you understand our need for suspicion and caution.
Are you suspicious of me and my family?
No.
We have been guardians, protectors of this spring in Glenfarra.
You entertain many people
for generations, for hundreds of years. She seems offended now. And that more vulnerable state of Aralai that you saw before, when she was concerned for her sister, concerned about the well-being of Glenfarra. She starts to shift at this accusation, or at least suggestion of suspicion, from Aralai to Lady Vervain. You be very careful about what you are suggesting, Timbersmith. Hedgewitch. I am just as much angered and disturbed by the presence of this thing as you. But do not for one moment question the loyalty or devotion of my family. We take this charge seriously. Anyone in my household is one that can be trusted.
I'm glad we're on the same page in our suspicion, at least. I don't know, I understand you have attachments here, but surely you see our line of thinking. We don't mean to cause offense, but we have to investigate every possible avenue. Like, if we don't find out where this thing has come from, there could be more. This could happen again. This could put springs everywhere at risk. This is important. We need to think clearly. We need to be objective.
I will agree that it's very strange that someone was able to get so close. But it sickens me to think that anyone within Glenfarre, within our home, would do such a thing.
I know.
Lady Vervain, what's her sister's name again?
Elena.
Elena. We were told that Glenfarre doesn't get visitors very often.
No.
You happen to keep a record of who visits.
Glenfarre does not open but once a decade for the All Crowns Fair. However, we do have traders. We send people out to bring goods, supplies, trade for things that we can't necessarily obtain here. Usually craft types of supplies, specialty materials. Not typically food or things of that nature. We have all we need here. But visitors are not freely welcome unless sponsored. Unless brought here. Every now and then we may have someone who is seeking refuge, but they are not permitted to simply enter. The watchtowers, the rangers all around, the outskirts of Glenfarre ensure that. The forest itself doesn't typically take kindly to invaders, we'll say. Although it's been quite some time before the forest itself took up arms against something. You read that in the archives.
Mm-hmm.
We haven't had an all-crown fair for a few years. The last was perhaps 4 years ago.
We have no idea when this thing was planted and attached to the roots of the spring.
It could have lain dormant for years.
Indeed.
That's a terrifying thought.
It is.
What?
So you think perhaps someone brought it here during the last fair?
Possibly, and they could activate it remotely. Who knows? It is a technological device, it seems, or an arcane device. Not anything of nature. I feel nothing from it.
I cannot speak for Eorad, but I was not sponsored here. And here I am.
You were. Both of you were brought in by the timbersmith and the hedge witch when you arrived on that ship. They vouched for you.
You were sponsored, yes. I heard you make good bathroom adjustments.
Did you?
Bath bombs.
Nice. Hey.
If we
And I
ever
saw-
get Iyastera merch, bath bombs are gonna be
Yes.
in there.
Oh, 100%.
They're gonna be scented like cinnamon.
Yeah.
Cinnabon,
Gonna
bath bomb.
bomb back bombs.
Yes.
That's going to be a thing. Going to commission them.
If we get X number more subscribers or Patreons, we can make this a reality.
Yeah. I didn't mean to cause offence, milady. You know I have no tact. My mother keeps telling me about this.
You hear a soft tut-tut in the back of your mind.
But tact aside, I had to ask the question, and I have to continue to answer with my suspicions.
I understand. And I appreciate your honesty. I know that you both, looking to both you and Kendis, are just as devoted to Glenfarre's well-being as anyone else. As my own family. As any of the old families. Do what you must. But the longer that thing is here, I think our discomfort and unease will just continue. I do not want that in Glenfarra any longer. Find out where it came from if you can. I would not recommend accusing people too readily.
Of course not. And for yourself, a certain level of discretion about what we've talked about would be appreciated.
While I will still stand by my assertion that my family can be trusted. I can understand that. I was a bit defensive. I still feel a bit defensive.
I'm used to it.
Understandable.
Used to it. Oh dear.
I took a bath as well. I thought this would end.
Oh dear.
Anyway, awkward. Let's just take the
That in character, that's good.
yeah. Let's just take the device and investigate then.
Learn what you can about it.
Mm.
In the meantime, I'm going to put an order out for increased watch. To the guards, to the rangers.
Mm.
Let me know.
Is
Let
there
me know
a
how I can help.
Is there a captain of the rangers
There
that we
is.
can speak to?
There
This
is.
would be very helpful.
They're at the southernmost watchtower. You will need to look for... Rin.
Rin. Okay.
Rindarin.
Interesting.
You may not have met him before. Kendis, you may have met some of the rangers before. Rindarin is a male human ranger, not originally from Glenfarra, but came to Glenfarra actually from Ela long ago. Probably about a couple decades ago. A little over. 2 all-crown fairies ago. He came here with Trezio, a male tabaxi glassworker. But Rindarin is currently captain of the Glenfarran Rangers.
Well, I suppose that's our next stop.
Scriv,
Yes.
I've got to check my living room door because someone literally knocked on my door at 12:30 in the morning.
Okay.
I'm freaked out. It's going to quickly check.
Yeah.
I thought that was bomb, and then I was like, wait, what? And then I realized that you were like out of character, which makes a lot more sense. Okay. Well, I hope you come back safe and sound. If it's someone creepy, don't open the door.
Yeah.
I'm concerned now because it
Me
is
too.
12:18 a.m. here in the UK. Who the flibberty gibbet would be knocking on a door?
Mm-hmm. Unless he ordered takeout and forgot. I've done that before.
I never forget about ordering takeout. I'm too food motivated. I sit there and wait. I use the app to see where the delivery person is.
I hate the wait-in, so I should distract
man.
myself. Oh, hey, you're alive, Witch.
Everything
Good.
okay?
Yeah, my heart rate just flew up.
Yeah.
Oh,
Are you a doppelganger? Is that really you?
Oh, no.
that's me, yeah.
How do we know?
Oh, man.
Say
Okay,
something
I'm okay.
that only Bomb would say. Yeah.
That tracks.
Everything was okay
Welcome
now?
back,
There wasn't
Kendis.
anything weird at the door?
No, nothing there at all. I thought it was the cat, but the cat's out. So it's literally someone just knocked on the door. Something knocked on the door.
Mysteries.
That's
Anyway.
spooky.
Awkward.
Ghost in the Oxenham house.
Alright, cool. Well, we'll be mindful of that. So, If it's quite alright with you, I'm going to go back to my family. But please do keep me posted.
Of course. We'll be in touch if we need anything, and please let us know if anything unusual comes up, won't you?
Of course.
Any suspicious knocks at the door?
Knocks at the
Indeed. It's just a phrase we have here.
Strange phrases you
Strange
bring from the seas, Marlowe. Aralai leaves and goes back inside with sort of a puzzled
She closes
and
the door.
still disturbed air about her. So, you've decided that you will at least speak to Rengeran. That's not the right song.
Do you feel like we should split up and talk to these different people? We have the herbalists, we have the ranger, and we have a research.
That's a fairly solid plan, I suppose. I would like to see Sybil and Hannah. It's been a couple of days, at least, but however you want to split it up, I suppose. All that matters is get the information.
And quickly. Marlowe, what do you feel?
I'm not particularly strong-minded either way. I think splitting up would be more sufficient.
I think you should go with the hedge witch, as you have the device. I can speak to Rin about matters of intrusion and strangers to the land.
That sounds
Yep,
good.
I think that sounds like a good plan.
In that case, let's go with Sybil and Hannah first.
Okay.
Kendis, Marlowe.
Well, come along then. Let's go.
It's
Kendis steps away.
into the afternoon.
Blissfully.
Into the afternoon now. It was late morning when you arrived at. Oh. Still freaked out, hatchling DM. Oh dear. That's weird. I'm not gonna lie. That's kind of.
It is
We're sitting here like, are we gonna witness something like weird?
It was very deliberate. It wasn't like random.
Oh,
Yeah,
no,
it was like
I don't like that.
3 knocks. Yeah.
Okay. I'll keep
Anyway.
it posted, I suppose. That's
Still
the
family
stream,
friendly.
guys.
It can still be scary and family friendly.
Spooky is a good genre. Super spooky. Okay. So, at this point, you were out there for a couple hours. We'll say an hour. A couple hours. So, it's into the afternoon at this point. The sun is higher in the sky. You still see some signs as you travel through, more towards the west, or rather the eastern side. The trading post is that central area. So where you went south to meet with the good songs, you travel a little bit farther east, not too far to the outskirts, not too far from the trading post itself, a little bit farther east from there to reach the Lazarus. So, the Lazaro family. It's a larger family, known for many adopted family members. The matriarch of the family, Anselm, and I can spell that for you guys later, is a very warm and maternal type of individual. And the Lazaro family is predominantly human. However, they have been known to take others into the fold. Other travelers, people who have come to seek refuge, people who have showed up as part of the All-Crown Fair in an attempt to learn a new trade, start a new life. Hannah was one such adoptee, I suppose we'll say. So instead of a single home, as the Boulder Smiths and the Good Songs really have, the Good Songs, of course, having more of that treehouse sort of construct, the Lazaros have a series of sort of cottages and huts, smaller dwellings in sort of a cluster, but all very cozily gathered together, like a tiny village in of itself, almost. And as you walk up, you're immediately hit more by the smell of it, the aroma, I should say, versus the smell. This variety of wildflowers and herbs and incense wafting out of one of the cottages as well. There is a small stream that flows past this section of Glenfarra that, of course, is one of the smaller tributaries branching off from that central lake, from the spring itself. And as you walk forward, you see Hannah actually out drawing some water from the spring. Stands up, much taller, not quite as tall as Baum. Actually, no, about the same height as Baum. Baum, you're fairly tall for a Furbolg. Hannah is also quite tall. As far as Furbolgs go, taller side of the Furbolgs. So Hannah stands up, sort of wild red hair that has now been cropped shorter. She attempts to keep it tamed in a sort of braid, but it looks like she didn't really bother today. It's afternoon, gathering water, not necessarily herbs and such. You can smell what seems to be like a cook fire from the main cottage, which you know the older Lazaros live.
Mm-hmm.
As she stands up, you see just a glimpse of a rather noticeable scar along the back of her neck that you've noticed before, Kendis. But you know from body language and perhaps some mistaken comments in the past that you've overheard that she prefers not to discuss it. Turns up, looks around. Hedgewitch Brackenhill! And
hello, my dear.
I'm not sure if we've met. Who's your friend?
Marlowe.
You're just in time for lunch.
Ooh, lunch.
It's lunchtime.
This is my friends Marlowe Magoya and you know Bomb, I'm sure.
Bomb's elsewhere.
Oh yeah, okay, sorry, my bad.
Yeah.
Sorry, spaced out a second. This is my friend Marlowe Magoya. Bomb would be here, but he's busy, so I have a new
Is this an apprentice?
Around.
Is this an apprentice, Hedgewitch?
Not unless she wants to be. Marlowe, never thought about this before, but
I remember years ago, I myself was seeking an apprenticeship, but it didn't seem like you were interested in taking on pupils at the time. Thankfully, the Lazaros took me in.
Yes, well, it was a different time. There was much happening elsewhere that
I'm giving you a hard time, Hedgewitch. It's fine.
Okay. Again, this kind of is a little flustered.
She lets out a bit of a hearty laugh.
Anyways.
Marlowe's just behind, sniffing at the air, I heard there was lunch.
Are you hungry?
It doesn't smell like acorns for once.
Come in! You're so tiny. She puts out her hand, come on. Time to eat. We're having food in the back garden. The sun's out today. It's nice. We figure we'll be outside. The air seems warmer. Did you notice that? Just about, maybe half an hour ago, I noticed some of the herbs in the back garden started... The ones that were starting to shrivel a little bit more. They seemed healthier today. I don't know why.
That's wonderful news. Yes, we did, in fact, fix our little weather problem. Which
you did.
I'm delighted to tell you that we have restored the spring, but may have uncovered...
What was wrong with the spring? Not
It's-
everyone knew that.
It's kind of a... Oh, yes.
It's a long story.
Marlowe, would you like to... Marlowe, why don't you take this one and
Take it away.
everything? I feel
Everything, just up to date.
overwhelmed all of a sudden. There's just...
Sounds like
I
a
don't even know where to
conversation to
start.
have over food. Well,
so presumably we go to the garden
We
area.
lead you to the back where they have a nice picnic actually laid out. So you see Sybil there, along with a more elderly Anselm and Briac.
At
The
sight
eldest
of-
brother.
At the sight of their garden, Marlowe's eyes kind of like brighten up a little bit.
The flowers are beautiful.
Do you mind if I pick just one? And she motions to the flowers.
Of course. And this is Anselm speaking up now. She brightens at the sight of the familiar face of Kendis, and then excitement and curiosity at seeing someone new being led into her garden. Anselm is a very warm and welcoming matriarch of this family. Kendis, you know Anselm to be deceptively shrewd as well, however.
Mm-hmm.
Dear, you can pick as many as you like. If you'll sit down and have lunch with us as well.
Of course. What is for lunch?
So, for
Very
lunch,
important.
very, very important. You notice there isn't really meat there. You have different types of cooked vegetables. Some look to be in more of a very spiced, herby sort of clay pot baked dish. You've got some root vegetables in there. You have some mushrooms. You have some tubers. You have some carrots and things, a lot of which you can tell has probably been foraged from the area. You also have some fresh fruit. You have some fresh baked bread as well. Like a nice hearty rustic sort of loaf of bread. Studded with seeds and seeds and like grains and things. That was a lore drop.
From our very own.
Oh my goodness.
After the scene.
After this scene. And I will try to respond in chat so as not to disrupt the thing. Wholesome Lazaro family. Indeed. Hello, Phoenix Iwaki. Hi. Also, I love that pirate Scriv email. What is that? Oh, was that something that you were able to redeem stuff for?
Yeah.
To change it? Oh, that's adorable. And a pirate goat. Anyway, so that is the spread out in front of you. Some sort of vegetables. You have, in that sort of clay pot dish, this is kind of a bigger dish with the fresh bread, fresh fruit. You have hot tea being brewed. And a very lovely looking fruit tart.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. Looks to be pear.
That sounds so delightful.
Mm. With little bits of, like mint sprinkled on top, garnished.
Oh my gosh, stop making me hungry.
Describing food is one of my favorite things in D&D. In case
It's
you guys
so good.
didn't
It's
pick
like
up on that.
Yeah.
a Redwall book.
Yeah.
Where do you think I fell in love with fantasy food? It's all Redwall. And there even is, to go along with that tart, it looks to be this very nice cream, like this whipped cream sort of thing. It has a slightly spiced smell to it, like cinnamon. But as you sit down, which first, in this garden, there are, of course, some cultivated flowers as well. Flowers that you're probably sure aren't necessarily native to here, but in their more individual pots and small plots and things, but a lot of wild flowers. What are you looking for anything in particular?
Something native to here.
Mm-hmm. Well, in terms of native flowers, you see, and native plants in general, you do see some smaller daisies. You see a lot of native clover as well, which that one doesn't necessarily flower. You do see a type of flower that you have not necessarily seen before. It's the color of lavender, but instead of the sort of cones, not really a cone flower, but the longer stalk with the tiny lavender buds growing on it. It looks almost more like a water lily in smaller, delicate bunches that grow along that stream just a few feet away. And it spreads. You haven't really seen one like that before. It's not a water lily, but it has those sort of layered petals that radiate out from the center, and it has a couple little stamen, little stalks covered in pollen. It's like a little lavender-looking lily. It's very pretty. You have bright yellows. You have some blue flowers in there. Some larger. The best way to say it is like fluffy. It's not quite like a rose, but larger petaled white flowers as well.
Like a mum.
Yes, more like a mum. I clearly need to read up on my flowers.
I will pick a couple and then turn and ask, do you have any cuttings or seeds, perhaps, of this particular one?
Which one?
The fluffy one.
The fluffy,
and,
the white sort of mum?
Yeah, and then the one that is like the color of lavender.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, certainly we can get you some seeds. And Anselm turns to Sybil. Would you mind grabbing those for me, dear? Sybil gets up, goes into the house. And while she is there, Anselm invites you all to sit. Anselm, older woman, not necessarily, well, like a younger grandmother. Covered in freckles, darker hair that she doesn't bother braiding or anything like that. Kind of falls a little bit past her shoulders. She's wearing a wide-brimmed sun hat as well, that does have little dried flowers and herbs kind of all along the brim. She's a very cheery sort.
Like Scriv's sun hat?
Oh no. No, not quite. I didn't even make that connection. I just thought this character would enjoy a good floppy gardening hat.
Mm-hmm.
Gardening sort of sun hat. Scriv's hat, floppy hat, my floppy hat, that's weird, is more like a traveler's sun hat. This is like more of a gardening hat. But she gestures for all of you to sit down. Both of you, rather, to sit down. Hannah sits as well. to enjoy the meal. She immediately speaks to you, Marlowe. And what is your name? You're a new arrival here.
New enough, yes.
Sybil and Hannah mentioned that there were some newcomers. Kendis, I'm a bit hurt that you didn't bring them by to say hello before. You know our family is open to all. Did you not hear me? Am I coming through okay?
Sorry, I had a little bit of a connection blip there, I think.
Oh,
something.
That's okay. Well, I've been having some issues
It's lagged a little bit through the whole stream, so I've managed to keep up mostly, but I just missed what you said, sorry.
Yep, no, that's fine. Anselm looks to you, Kendis, and says, "Why have you not brought these new friends to meet me before? Sybil and Hannah told me they were here. You know our family is open to all."
I know, I'm sorry, there's just been rather a lot on. You see, well, the frost and the... Oh my gosh, I'm getting overwhelmed again. I don't even know what to say.
Sit down and have some tart.
So much going on. There's, well, the spring was... I mean, it all leads to why we're here, really, so I suppose I may as well just explain from the beginning, and
Have
then...
some
Marlowe's
food
just
first.
sat while this is happening, like...
Oh yeah, you've helped yourself. Anselm, as you are speaking, is making a plate for you, Kendis, and
Cool.
gesturing to Briac, her eldest son. Hand me that one. No, not that one. That one. Yes. I can't remember. Do you like the middle or the end slices of bread?
The end. Always the end.
That's right. I told
thank
you that. She speaking to Briac. Put some butter on there, a little bit of cream. You have a full plate of food, more than you typically are comfortable eating.
And tea.
And tea.
Tea.
Oh, Hannah already pushed a cup of tea into your hand as you were starting to feel overwhelmed.
Yeah, I guess kind of just as a kind of whistle stop explanation of the problem with the spring and the fate of Eorad and everything else. And then kind of concludes with like their hands cupped around their tea, like, and not that we really want to think badly of anyone, but it's really hard not to suspect foul play given the stringent security around the well. So, well, I'm here because I trust you and yours and would really appreciate some further counsel. And yes, whatever my research can throw up, I'll obviously throw into the pool of knowledge we're accumulating, but I don't know, we're all just a little bit of a loss, having lost one of our companions too, and now on the next stage of this very bizarre mystery. I don't know. What do you make of it?
Anselm was listening very intently as you were speaking. Also encouraging you to take some bites here and there in between. Because it also helped to slow down your speech. So you could continue to follow along. Well, that would explain why we were barred from the spring for a bit, wouldn't it? I'm sorry to hear about your friend. But the earth works in strange ways, and if he's found his calling, then we will be happy to have him here, of course. Or there, but you know what I mean. So how can we help? I can speak to the rest of our little clan here, if you like.
That might be good, without giving away too much, I suppose. Ask if anyone's seen anything suspicious. The other thing the theory we're toying with is if this device has been planted and lain dormant for some time, and only activated now, which gives us a much significantly larger pool of time to work with so many people could have come in to Glenfell and out again, and I don't know, I guess just keep your eyes peeled. And Marlowe, do you have the device? Can we take a look?
Marlowe's just like got like a piece of bread, she's just eating it. She like reaches into her pocket and like dangles one of its legs from out of her pocket. She's like, this one.
Be careful with that thing. It's sharp.
Oh my goodness.
Goodness sake. And Kendis like reaches over and like takes it.
And Selm reaches out her hand to take a look. May I?
Oh, of course. Also, Kendis hasn't done any kind of investigation check on this yet, so
Nope.
I'll do that at some point.
Just Marlowe.
So.
Well, this is a strange thing.
Mm-hmm.
As she passes it between her hands, she takes... It's almost as if she doesn't even want to touch it. And you found this at the spring. At the tree. So this is the cause of all the problems we've been having. This small thing. Well, the other bits and pieces of it, at least. So what do you think? You think someone smuggled it in? Some of ours... Johann, Michelle, some of them have gone out on some trading trips. Michelle actually has gone on another one. We try every couple of weeks. They never mentioned anything odd. I could ask them if they noticed anything strange on the road.
Mm-hmm.
They went out with a couple of guards, I think. Or Michelle more recently left with a couple of guards, but... Usually one of the guards comes along with them. I don't know. No one's mentioned anything about strange people or unexpected visitors. I'm not sure. I can ask them. No, Michelle's on another trading mission. Trading outing. Mission. Trading quest, side quest. Goodness gracious. Playing too many video games. I don't know where Johann is. I'll ask. I'll ask the others if they've seen him. I think last I heard he was looking for some more herbs, trying to find some that weren't frozen over. Practicing his identification, still learning.
Mm-hmm.
Johann is another human. Human male, arrived around the same time as Hannah, actually, with the last All Crown Fair. The Lazaro family hasn't had any newcomers really since Hannah and Johann.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know Johann too well.
Okay.
But there are many in the Lazaro family whom you have not met.
Yeah.
You've really just seen Johann in passing. You know Michelle, one of the younger children of Anselm. Anselm having 4 children: Briac, Michelle, Don, and Sybil. Mm-hmm. And of course, everyone else is just sort of adopted into the family.
Yes.
Yeah. We'll look around to see.
Much appreciated.
At this point, Sybil comes back. And Anselm hands the leg back to you.
Mm-hmm. Kendis takes it, and I don't know, I guess I should do an investigation check, right? Because I haven't done one yet. just in case.
Yeah. Go ahead. Roll an investigation check if you like.
Cool. That's intelligence, right?
It is.
Virtual dice. A little bit of lag on here. So that is 15.
15.
Yeah, with my modifier, 12 plus 3.
So for investigation, are you trying to detect anything specifically? Anything in particular?
Just to see if I recognise any of the craftsmanship or the runes or anything about this, any kind of memory at all from like Jakul or somewhere else.
Actually, some of the runes look interesting to you.
Mm-hmm.
Particularly runes for blocking and negating, the kinds of things that are used for dispelling magic. But it's strange in the way that they are almost interwoven with symbols for absorption and storing.
Okay.
And the construction looks interesting to you. It looks a bit familiar in some ways.
Okay.
Not in terms of what the thing looked like itself,
Just the way it's made.
but something with the way the joints move.
Mm-hmm.
You're trying to think back. It seems familiar with something that you've seen in the Athenaeum.
Come on, Kendis, think. Oh my gosh, it's on the tip of my mind, but
You
I
once
can't.
worked with someone who was interested in sort of arcanely powered things.
Mm-hmm.
With a 15.
Would I?
With a 15.
Yeah.
A name does come to mind, actually. One moment. Alfred. One of the other arcanists there. One of the archivists was working on things.
Okay. Kendis will relay this to the group. Just a fragment of memory of an old companion in Jakul who worked with arcane machinery in this way.
You remember Alfred working on birds first, which he always found a little disturbing. Alfred would try to ask for feathers from you, just to try to see how they worked and the structure of them, to try to research for his little arcane creations. He wanted the birds to be used for, now that you are remembering this, he wanted the birds to be used to help the sentinels keep watch over the Athenaeum. But the way those little wings were jointed, the way this leg is jointed, triggers that memory for you.
Okay. Well, Kendis relays that to the group and adds like, oh, no wonder I'd forgotten. I'd pushed that rather unfortunate recollection right to the back of my mind. But looking at this now, it's all flooding rather unpleasantly back. Creepy fellow, that one. But yes, could be tech from Jakul. It could indeed. Marlowe, you've travelled many a place. Are you sure there's nothing else that's familiar about this to you? You haven't seen anything like this before?
Have I ever been to Jokul?
No. Outside of the port cities. You have not gone into Jokul. However, I mean, it doesn't... Eorad did say it didn't seem like anything he's seen before. That's a strange sound.
That was...
It's a plane.
That sounded like a plane. A flying contraption soars overhead. Everyone panics. Fire falls from the sky. There's the end of the campaign.
Goats fall from the sky.
Fire goats fall from the sky.
Brilliant.
You have not been to Jokul before now, but this reminds you of something that someone in the, as I said before, someone as part of the collective may have made. Because it has that same sort of weird, morally gray sort of intent behind it.
Does the name Alfred mean anything to me? Have I heard that before?
No.
Okay. So I just tell them what I told them before. I've never seen anything like it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. No, you have not heard the name Alfred before. And Eorad did mention earlier, I believe, that he had not. It doesn't look like something from the Athenium that he's ever seen.
Mm.
So, because there was plenty of time between Kendis, your departure, and then of course Eorad being there, because you two didn't really meet, but for whatever reason, Eorad didn't recognize anything about it. Of course, Eorad was working in different circles, I suppose.
Oh
no! Oh no! Our hedge witch. Snap. They'll come back. It's okay. In the meantime, let me just kind of shift your window capture over a little bit. Jenn,
are they having internet difficulties?
Possibly.
Yeah, I think there's a few
Quite possibly.
service dip. Yeah, where they are. Yeah.
Let me fix this. Let's move
A
your
little
window
bit
around a
of
bit.
lag wasn't. They were complaining about it.
Yeah. Okay. You are back in your window. Excellent. And
They'll be back in a minute.
they'll be back in a minute, yeah.
There you go.
Sweet. I'll shift the video again.
Yeah.
You have not seen either any little bird figures like what Kendis has mentioned. But going off of that natural 20 from before, they do ring a bell.
Mm.
Are they like constructs?
Yes. Not like a Warforged or anything like that, not like a golem. A little Magitech construct.
Construct without a heart.
Yes.
Hmm.
Sybil does come back and hand you a small silk pouch with some seeds in it, as well as a little bundle of dried, or did you want fresh clippings?
Fresh clippings, but picked flowers.
Okay. So a small bundle of clippings, then, and actually a very nice little bouquet.
Cute.
Tied with some twine. And as she hands them to you, welcome to Glenfarra. Because this was their first time meeting. Sybil saw you before, so she kind of reported back to Mom. But there was no formal introduction.
There's a pink girl.
It looks like
There's a
water-
watermelon-colored girl.
Watermelon's not native to Glenfarra, but we think that's what the colors are like. Also, the food is delicious. You've finished the surprisingly filling sort of clay pot baked dish of different vegetables and herbs, and you're working on that pear tart now.
Left
And there's
just
like a
enough
nice
room for the tart.
glaze. Oh yeah, but with a healthy dollop of that fresh cream, whipped cream on it too. The cream topping. It's very good.
Scriv, can you get that Sash back in? She's
Ooh,
asking
yes,
for it.
yes,
They're
yes.
asking for access. So.
Coming back in. Hey! Now let me go back and
And-
fix.
They're back.
Hi.
Back to normal. All good, all good.
What did I miss?
Nothing really. Fine.
No, nothing at all. No.
Still chatting.
An airplane flew overhead and that's about it.
Yeah, just
No, so Sybil came back with a small bundle of clipped flowers and a packet of seeds. Handed them to Marlowe, said, "Welcome to Glenfarra. It's good to meet you. You're enjoying your meals, and that's really all you missed." Marlowe
Okay,
had some
cool.
other memories in the back of her mind, but she hasn't shared them.
Ooh, okay. Well, that's even more meta. There's like no, like, I literally have no idea. I like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
That's fine.
You'll have to catch the video on YouTube next week.
I will totally do that. And the RPG that I was a part of.
Yes, yes.
Well,
So
but yeah.
Anselm turns to Briac and says, "Let's gather the others this evening around dinner. I'll ask them if they've noticed anything interesting, anything strange. I'll tell them about this device to see if it rings a bell, because we tend to go out for trading, for trade a little bit more often than some of the other families, just given the nature of what we do here. So we'll see if we've noticed any, or if anyone in our family has seen anything."
Okay.
Is there anything else I can do right now?
I think we're good. I'm all.
Do you need to bring some food back with you? Where are you staying, Marlowe? Are you staying with Kendis?
with the timbersmith?
Oh. Let's send some food back with you then. Starts to put a parcel of food together. I don't know if that boy just lives off of acorns or what, but I don't know how they grow so tall. And Hannah just kind of laughs, like, "Yep, heard this before." Put together a nice big bundle of food, along with smaller bundles for both of you, to bring back. We'll let you know if we hear anything. And once Michelle comes back from this next trip, should be back hopefully tomorrow, in a couple of days. Went a little bit farther. Went to Capal this time. Capal being one of the towns farther to the west, into the hills, not quite to the coast. One of the larger towns. But do let me know. And come back for dinner or lunch or something sometime. And if you are indeed going to be an apprentice, as I may or may not have overheard as you walked up, be sure to come by here for some extra lessons. We taught our hedge witch a couple of things too.
One is never too old to learn something.
Don't I know it? Lifting her hat, showing some gray hairs. Come back again soon. Okay?
Thank you kindly. I'll be sure to do that.
Of course, dear. And you. Unless there's anything else you'd like to do.
I think we're done here. Marlowe?
Yeah. Thank you for the warm welcome.
Of course, anytime. And we scene shift.
Woo!
Bomb. You are striding through the trees simultaneously as this is happening. Of course, it takes you a little bit longer to get to your destination. So I would say in terms of the timeline, they're into the meal, certainly, by the time you get to the southernmost watchtower. This is the watchtower that you were told Rindaran is currently residing. Or not residing, but that's where his post is today. You know that the guards all rotate. You don't want to stay staring at the same bunch of trees for too long. You start to become accustomed to it, you might miss something. So they like to keep fresh eyes across all of the corners, all of the posts on the outskirts of Glenfarra. So this is the one that is the first watchtower that you hit if you were to come from that main southern road, leading away from the Marne River, which you know is the largest river that goes more from north to south in Monair. You know this because you have been out on a couple of trading trips in the past. It's been some time. Ever since your ancestral spirits became restless, you didn't really go. You didn't really leave anymore. So, you walk up. You see the rope and wooden ladder, not hanging down, but rolled up to the top of this very simple post, this watchtower. It's not so much a freestanding tower, but as with many of the buildings in Glenfarra, it is built into the trees. As you walk up, actually a few yards away first, you hear a voice yelling down to you. And you have or have not? No, you have not met Rindaran before. No. But you hear a voice shout down. Is that a timbersmith I see? Your family is still known. You're the only Firbolg family in Glenfarra.
There's only one of me.
Well, you must be the one then. We know you. Have you kindly come to visit? This isn't Rin. Well, then again, you wouldn't know, would you? So there are two voices up in the tower. You have a dwarf calling down, and that's the one who said, "Hey, is that a timbersmith?" This is actually oh my goodness. Okay, it's taking. I have this document with all these NPCs, and each time I try to flip a page, it's like it's molasses. It's just not working the way it's supposed to. This is Liam. You have seen Liam, the dwarf ranger, before. Liam was actually there on that day where you brought Marlowe and Eorad into Glenfarra. So you've encountered Liam before, but you don't really meet a lot of the guards. There's not really a watch post too close to the Knotless Wood. Not in that area. You're sort of in a space between the watches, between the realm, or the purview. I never thought we'd see a timbersmith up here.
Never
Ha!
thought I'd visit.
For once, I'm looking down on you. Ha ha ha! You don't hear that often, do you?
No. I won't hear it for much longer.
Or are you coming up?
There's,
Or are we coming down to you? Hey, Rin! We have a visitor. You'll never guess who it is. And you hear a bit of a thump as because the windows of this watchtower are a little bit higher for a dwarf. So it sounds like he's probably stepped down from something as you're looking up to see. And then you see a male human face staring down at you. Hail, Timbersmith.
Hail.
Are you coming to join the watch? Are you bored of your trees already?
I'm afraid I couldn't climb up there if I tried.
I'm sure you could. Is everything
rope-
okay?
Right. Could we talk on flat ground?
Hey, Liam, keep an eye on the road for me. And Rin comes down. The ladder, with a nice clattering sound of the wooden planks, is released. There's a bit of a trap door there. Rin opens it up, stares down. Watch your head! The ladder clatters down pretty loudly, and Rin climbs down. There are some fairly heavy stones at the end of the ladder to sort of help weigh it down at the bottom so it's not swaying too much. Ren walks down, or climbs down rather, a little bit taller, darker hair. As you notice him climbing down, he's missing the pinky from his right hand.
I do. Bomb does notice that because he tends to concentrate, like most people concentrate on people's eyes when they introduce someone to it. Bomb's always looking at their hands and you know the state of them, whether they're like a manual person or whether they're more standoffish in terms of labour.
Yeah.
Well,
you notice as Ren finishes the climb and walks over to you, thrusts out a hand. Nice to finally meet you, looking up at you. Ren's taller for a human, but not, of course, not to your height. And as you shake the hand, if you do shake the hand.
Yeah, he does take it,
Yeah. And this is a very hearty shake. Rin, you remember hearing, is not from Monair. Rin is from Ila, where people are a little bit more open, a little bit more jovial. You know, sunny island.
Bomb's going to struggle.
Island culture, yeah. So Rin flashes a very curious smile at you, and his hands are very rough. Definitely worker's hands, sailor's hands to be specific, because you do remember seeing them, both Rin and his companion Trizio. They both came to Glenfarra during a fair from Ila.
Cool.
To what do I owe the pleasure, friend?
I'm afraid the pleasure is short-lived. I need to ask you a question.
Well, this seems rather dour.
Dour indeed. I could, I don't know, spruce it up with some few acorns and some flowers. Won't make much difference.
Are you sure you don't want to join the watch? This is good. Really, though, what's wrong?
I presume you know about the spring and the troubles there.
We caught wind of it.
I need to know about this wind now. I need to know what has been on the wind. What have you seen, or after any unusual presence, activity, visitors? And I need information as well, if you would offer it, on ways to infiltrate the spring, other than going through the
You want to
household.
know how to infiltrate the spring?
How one would do this.
Make a persuasion check.
16. Persuasion. Oh, 15.
15. These are a lot of questions for someone who hasn't shown interest in Glenfarren's security before. Do the Vervains know about all of this? I imagine they do. They watch over the spring. I will admit that I've helped to keep watch on things myself.
Of course.
Is there something in particular you're looking for? It's not easy to get to the spring, and I can assure you that no strangers, no unknowns come here, with the exception of the fair, but we try to keep track of everyone, without me knowing, without any of my guards knowing. Something strange.
You have not felt anything unusual then, even instinctively. This is what I need to know. I'm a person of instincts. I feel things, especially as for the land and the trees, as you well know. There's been frost touching everything. That's
We've known.
obvious. I need you to dig deeper, look deeper. What do your instincts tell you?
There was something. I didn't think too much of it at the time. It was a few months ago. One of the trading wagons came back in a bit of a hurry. They said they were being followed. Or they seemed like they were being chased. They said they had ran into some trouble with some sort of bandit, some sort of thief. Perhaps trying to steal something from the caravan while they were camping during the night. They got here just before sunrise. Seemed like they had been riding for some time. We have problems with bandits and people trying to enter the forest. But we've always been able to stop them. And of course, going out with a trading caravan is not safe all the time. You always worry. And there's always going to be someone who's looking to take advantage of an opportunity. But this was a weird one. They said that nothing was really stolen from the caravan, but it was definitely damaged as they were trying to flee. We kept watch strictly after that, after we made sure they were all here safely. We didn't see anyone following them, though. But they were shaken up. It doesn't happen often. The roads, while there are risks, we typically don't have attacks that frequently. It's not so dangerous as that. At least on the roads between here and, say, the capital, or, Cashel or Capal. You go a little bit farther. Perhaps you go out to Felbray or something like that, and you'll run into some roughness, but this caravan was just going to the capital.
Is it not possible then that instead of taking something from the caravan, something was put in it?
He pauses for a moment. What kind of something?
Something magical of nature and entirely corruptive.
Magical and corruptive. You might have to do better than that.
Imagine, if you will, something that can work autonomously, move undetected, and then ruin the lives of many.
That sounds quite dangerous, my friend. So you're thinking something was smuggled in?
Yes. This
I'll
is now my
admit, we were
instincts.
looking to see if people were following or if something had been stolen. We checked that caravan. There was there was some damage done to it. But we didn't look for anything that would have been placed there. Nothing seemed out of the ordinary, just all of the supplies.
It's something to go on, though, without revealing everything the Lady Vervain does not wish others to know. Your information is actually very helpful. And you do a good job here.
Follow me.
I know this. You've protected the borders of this wonderful place for many, many years.
Follow me. Let's talk for a moment. A little farther away. Liam, we're going for a walk. Some of the jovial tone, not quite returning to his voice when he says that. Liam doesn't seem to notice. Got it, Captain. Bring back some of those acorns and flowers, yeah? Rin walks a little bit farther. Still along the outskirts, still always in sight of the road. In sight of the road. You're talking about something very dangerous, Timbersmith. I think you already know that, though. Look. What I say stays between us. Got it?
Mm-hmm.
Kind of looks around a bit. And he seems a bit more weary in this moment. Rin, you get the feeling, is usually a very cheerful kind of person, as is typical for many Elans.
Mm-hmm.
When I came here, like all of us, we wanted to start fresh, right? Anything I'm about to tell you, I have nothing to do with anymore. It's part of why I wanted to become a guard to help protect this place. But you said you found some sort of magic, dangerous thing, right? Some sort of device.
So, as you say that to him, he picks up a chunk of wood, just from one of the bottoms of the base of the tree, and he starts whittling as he's listening. Because Bomb can do whittling without actually concentrating on it. He can almost feel the contours of the wood and the depth of it. And he's starting to carve this device to his best ability and recollection.
Okay, good. And there are plenty of fallen branches and things. You wouldn't even have to break anything fresh. You don't typically like to do that anyway. Not for something like this. I'm not too familiar with things like that. But before I came here, I may have done a little bit of smuggling in my time. There's only one place I can think of that might have the types of things that you're talking about. It's dangerous. And I wouldn't tell anyone to go there. Last time I went there, I had all of my fingers. You tell no one about this. Me just telling you about it reveals things that go against the code. You understand? There's this black market that sometimes people go if they need to find something or get rid of something. You don't know faces, you don't know names. I was hired once, a long time ago, just to be a guard to help transport things. Are you still whittling?
Yeah, it's starting to take shape now. It's quite crude, but it's very, very similar.
People don't typically go there more than once. I certainly haven't been back. But I think that's where you might be able to find some of the answers for this. Just smells wrong.
It feels wrong.
It is wrong. And I'm not telling you to go there. But if somehow you were to stumble upon it, you didn't hear it from me. I was using a different name then anyway, so it doesn't matter.
I'd never compromise you. You have my trust.
It wouldn't work well for you if you did. But, like I said, that life is behind me now. I can't really tell you where to find it, but I can tell you when. It only meets. This place moves. It's not in just one place. It's not like it's some seedy underbelly. It's not in a city, it's not in a town. It only pops up once every full new moon. I don't know how much more to tell you than that.
Is there any way, special way to access this market? Password, identification.
You've got to know someone. Got to know someone who's been there. I have not been there. But they have a different name for it. They call it the Goblin Market. You'll know why when you get there. If you do go, and I'm not telling you to, make sure you keep all your fingers.
No one's ever taken these. This has been a great help. I can't even tell you or describe to you how indebted we are. You may have saved Glenfarra, even with this small smidgen of information.
Well, if I'm any part of the reason why it was in danger in the first place, for missing something, it's the least I can do.
I appreciate that. Now, and then he stops whittling the carving and crushes it underfoot. He just drops it and then stamps on it.
Were you carving so that he could see it?
Yeah.
He noticed.
Yeah. I've just crushed it to bits, so it's got no shape anymore.
I haven't seen it. It's not familiar. But find that market.
We will. We will find someone who knows a way in, even if it means traveling elsewhere.
Are you prepared for that, Timbersmith? For
Am I, Mother?
For an adventure? You'll have to leave Your home. Your mother. The leaves rustle a bit, almost in unison with a breeze that starts to flow through the branches of the trees overhead, warming them just enough for some more of that frost to melt and drip. Just a very temporary little rain shower.
I had a bath one day. I'll leave this place the next.
And your mother's voice comes into your mind. And I'll be with you, my son.
He kind of takes hold of the flower pot with the nettles in it. Now, Rin, I must go back to my companions. I feel we have a long journey ahead with many pitfalls. But
Come
if we
see
can
me
make a
once more
difference-
before you go.
Very well.
I'll be here.
And just as I will reveal nothing of your backstory, the same must be said for you about this situation.
Of course.
He looks down, he says, "Mum's the word."
And that is where we will end.
Oh,
The goblin market, you say?
What?
Oh
Try
my
and keep a straight
God.
face.
Weird.
What
What
is
the heck?
this about the
Weird.
goblin market?
I have no
Never heard of
idea.
it. Never heard of it.
Sounds completely bad. This is brand new information.
Yep. Yep. No metagaming.
No. Yay!
Oh my gosh, I can't believe they're tying into each other. This
That
is
was so good.
Genius.
Um,
Genius.
That's brilliant.
So.
Wait.
Yeah.
wait.
What?
Uh,
Is this a question
Would-
for on stream or after?
would Kendis and Marlowe have made it back at that point?
I guess.
At the point where this exchange ended, you would be finishing up your meal and taking your leave.
Okay.
Because ultimately that exchange doesn't take
Yeah.
too long. It just took him longer to walk there than it did for you to get to the Lazarus.
Yeah. I'm getting back to the cabin now anyway.
Yeah.
As they're leaving, Marlowe will take out a little, essentially like a little leather-bound notebook and open up to a blank page and press one of the flowers in there and then like tie it back up. She like makes a note of what kind of flower it is and where it's from and then ties it back up.
That's nice.
I love it.
That's very
That's
nice.
really lovely.
And I owe you some more details for what the flowers actually look like as well. We'll work on that. All right. Well, I hope all of you, both on stream and in the chat world there, enjoyed episode 1 of chapter 2
That was awesome.
of the Heroes
So much fun.
of Iyastera. A new journey. I need to start putting titles on these episodes now that we have them. You never really know what it's going to be until after the fact, though.
No, of course
That'll
not.
just be for YouTube. So, yeah. There you go.
Thanks,
We'll go
Kendis,
ahead and go
awesome.
around the table. Any closing thoughts? Any quick little bits of wisdom to share? How about this? We'll either have something to promote or a little bit of wisdom that you recently learned. I like that.
Who's going first?
That's the question, isn't it?
My mind's blank of wisdom. What? Yeah, I guess my Litmag Tea Light Press is open for submissions. Our theme this month is nature, and we are accepting poetry, flash fiction, prose, art, and any and all kinds of creativity from LGBTQIA creators. Ooh. So check us out on Tea Light Press on Twitter. I believe our deadline is 1 week before the end of the month, and then we tend to go back to people within that week. Yeah, that's it for me. Spirit Jam on Twitter. Again, just like in the middle of life stuff, so not really doing too much stuff at the moment. Working on Glitch's maps. Yeah, that's it. Those are the things for me. I don't have any wisdom to share. I feel like I should. Kendis is the wise one, not me.
You all have some wisdom. Next.
I'm not. I can't avoid giving on wisdom as well.
Okay.
I've got
I'll have wisdom for next week.
I've got, what do I have? I have a Rhyme of a Frostbitten campaign that I'm in every Thursday on the Geekly Inc. channel, and mostly just doing freelance stuff, art stuff, at Jenn Peig on Twitter for all of your art needs.
Arty needs.
Yeah, overlays. Like banner characters.
Someone did mention an
illustrations.
overlay earlier.
Yeah.
This overlay
right.
was created by our dear Jenn here.
Ooh.
The stream overlay. I love it. I'm just catching up on some of these notes. Did we ever get a lore drop? I'll save that for the end.
No, actually, Knight said that he'd rather just leave it naturally for the game to go. He's excited about the secrets and reveals. So like.
All the secrets.
I tend to agree. Like it, it's nice to have it nice flow, isn't it? I'm Hatchling DM everywhere. Actually, Inspirals has got its first virtual convention appearance on Saturday. That's for the Tabletop Boost Games Day. You can register with an Inspiral session there. At warhorn.net/dashboard. And we've got 4 spaces there if you want to try out the game that teaches sign language. It's really good fun. No pressure to learn, but it's just a nice jaunt and like whimsical game. And I think you'll have a good time.
Excellent. Oh, that is very exciting. Go check that out if you can.
Yeah, if anyone wants to play, I know Mr. Knight is playing.
Sir Knight.
Oh.
Excellent. You guys know where to find me. I'm going to have a special guest on the Chill Creation stream next Tuesday. Someone who we haven't had on this stream before. Has to do with the Pastrymancer one-shot. And if you are a patron, you will have seen this a little bit already. You would have seen this announcement on the Patreon, but we're going to be revealing some cool things with this little Pastrymancer collection. So stay tuned next week. And next Thursday could be a gaming stream, could be going back to Horizon Zero Dawn. We could do some other game design types of stuff. We'll have to see. The future is always in the works. I don't know. I don't have any wisdom either. I used up my brain cells for this session.
Yeah.
Although I will leave you with a little lore drop, I suppose. Someone wanted to know about this thieves guild. What I can say, the Goblin Market isn't necessarily a guild. And here's another one. You cannot ever take something that is not freely given or traded for from the Goblin Market. There's no theft in the Goblin Market, lest you face some serious repercussions.
Ooh.
And that's all I've got. You guys know where to find me. You know where to find the rest of the team. We've got all of our handles, and I'm just now noticing that the handle script for myself and Rich is white instead of black. I don't know why.
Oh.
And how did I not notice that before? that will be fixed for next time. But
It's all right.
until next time, I do hope all of you have an absolutely wonderful evening, rest of your day, and into the weekend. I hope you're all hanging in there. We'll catch up on Twitter and Discord and all those good places. But keep adventuring, keep scribbling, and we'll see you next time. Have a wonderful evening, everyone.
Thank you for watching.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much.